Alright YouTube, welcome back. So if you're watching this video, you're interested in po420, po430 codes. I just did a video on someone's video that really wasn't accurate on the information they were giving you. By the time you have a CAD efficiency code, typically it's too late to correct the issue without repairs, maintenance, parts, and labor. And typically you don't usually see catalytic converters fail within the first 3 years, 36,000 miles. And I have seen CAD efficiency codes come on just within warranty and just out of warranty, and as low as, I want to say 30 something thousand miles, low 60s. But the average lifespan of a catalytic converter, typically, in my experience, for the vehicles that aren't maintenance tip top, who aren't using good oil change interval practices, who aren't using top tier gasoline, is about 100,000 miles. And that's pretty sad. My opinion would be, if the customers were more educated on maintenance, that they could completely avoid CAD efficiency codes. Hence, I've showed many vehicles with hundreds of thousands of miles with the original catalytic converters, and how they made it hundreds of thousands of miles, not 100, 200, 300 with the original catalytic converters, is maintenance, early oil change intervals, keeping up with their air filters, keeping up with their tune-ups for fuel injection, and on and on and on. So other video was about 3 solutions to fix. None of those solutions were a fix. One was maintenance, and maintenance is maintenance. It's not really a fix. You're maintaining a component. 2 was to take apart your exhaust system and your catalytic converter and try and clean it. And that's really not a fix. And then 4 was tamper with your emission system, which is not a fix. It masks and hides a problem like a magic trick, and that doesn't always work. So the next video, as I'm scrolling through my YouTube, is 9 solutions to fix a po420, and it says 9 solutions to fix po420. Don't start fixing before watching this. It is my experience you need to start fixing before you even start chasing a catalytic converter code. My opinion in most cases is, by the time that your CAD efficiency code shows its face, your underlying neglected maintenance issues are usually the cause. And most people don't fix the cause. They go right for the effect and wind up spending money on a catalytic converter. Typically, the DIYers are buying the absolute most cheapest quality part they can find on Amazon and eBay and bolting it on, not realizing, 1, the fitment is horrible, 2, the precious metals that are inside the catalytic converter don't even equate to what it needs to be efficient or satisfy that efficiency po420 or po430 code. And hence, that's why you paid $80 for an entire catalytic converter system with 3 cats and pipes and flanges, or $100. There's no precious metals in there to have it do its job, and that's why you pay that. So hence you're chasing your tail. Or you buy an OEM catalytic converter, which can take a beating, meaning what I mean is it can take unburnt fuels, hydrocarbons, burning oil for a much longer period of time than any aftermarket product, because it has the proper load of materials inside that catalytic converter to do its job. But eventually it will fail again if you don't fix the problems. And 1 is the oil consumption. 2 is the GDI, or carbon dump intake valves, or PCV system, or EVAP codes, or any other codes in the system. So you actually have to start fixing your vehicle or doing the maintenance that's been neglected before you really chase down the catalytic converter. And people say, "Oh, I maintenance my car. I take the oil filter off and it's sucked in. It's full of sludge. I pull the throttle body boot and the throttle body is disgusting. You pull the PCV hose off, there's oil and sludge dripping out of it." That's not a maintained car. And some people, I don't really think, know what routine proper maintenance is. But the catalytic converter is the reaction to what is going through it based on what the engine is producing and telling the sensors to do, right? So it doesn't say, "Hey, you're burning too much oil because your oil consumption is higher than its engine design." It doesn't say, "Well, let me detune or let me add more fuel to wash it." It doesn't know that. Your engine's not supposed to be burning oil like a diesel truck. Um, in most cases, your engine's misfiring before it actually illuminates a check engine light. Most people don't know that either. Or your VVT solenoids are full of sludge, and it's causing your engine to run overtly advanced or overly retarded, putting too much heat or too much timing or too much fuel in the catalytic converter. So a lot of moving parts to why the catalyst is reacting and pitching the efficiency code. So my opinion is you really should be fixing before you change the catalytic converter. But my experience is that if you're chasing a catalytic converter code, you need to fix both problems. And just by doing one without the other, it's just a crapshoot to say, hey, I have this resolved. And your engine actually has to be running good. And that's the key point. If it is not efficient, it's not seeing complete combustion. Some people start the car up, it'll misfire for 3 or 4 seconds, and they'll let that go on for years before the engine light comes on, and not even think anything about it. It'll just, well, it never happened again, so I didn't think there was anything wrong. The engine light went on and then went off by itself. That means it identified a problem, and a certain mileage, there's certain things that need to be done, and the way it's written in your service manuals is way outside of what reality is to maintain today's vehicles. So fixing before you replace the catalytic converter, I agree with that. You need to get your vehicle maintenanced up. You need to find out what's going on. There's no way of really telling what a catalytic converter's issues are without cutting it apart and looking inside. And as I said before, if you get a check engine light for a cat efficiency code, chances are catalytic converter's already suffered damage. And it's probably not savable, even if you do fix the problems, the underlying problems that caused it. Oil consumption is a big killer for catalytic converters. Raw fuel, over advanced timing chains rattling, for 60,000 miles on start or rattling while you're driving. All this stuff just beats the crap out of your catalytic converter. So, you could always just go and put a catalytic converter on it and mask the issues, but that doesn't usually fix the problem. And most people don't want to commit to, a $2,000 or $3,000 catalytic converter job, just in my experience, because things are expensive today. But your vehicle's not cheap anymore. So I'm going to say, yeah, you need to start repairs and maintenance. Get the car 100% running properly and see if the converter is salvageable. Sometimes they are. If you can catch it in the early stages of the po420, what is early stages? Well, following all your routine maintenance before your routine maintenance is done. Don't push your oil changes past 3,000 or 5,000 miles. Not skip your spark plug replacements. And the people argue this all the time. Oh, this says 100,000 miles. 100,000 miles worth of wear on today's spark plugs is horrible. They still, even though they're double and triple or rhodium and platinum and this and everything, there are deposits that cook to that cause misfires. Even though they're not worn out, deposits cause misfires too. And actually being worn out of spec. So there's a lot of moving pieces to it. And the early part of this is staying on top of your car. Would I rather do a 30, 60, 90K 3 times in 100,000 miles and not have to spend $2,000 for a catalytic converter? Sign me up. Sign me up. Some engines need spark plugs every 30K, and some engines don't need them every 30K. Depending on how well you maintenance your vehicle is going to tell you how long the catalytic converter is really going to last in your car. A lot of moving parts. So there is fixing before replacing. And like I said, most people just go for, hey, I need a catalytic converter, and never tell you why you need a catalytic converter. And we always tell everyone, the catalytic converter is only a result of something else going on in your engine. And just because you tune it all the way up and you're not aware of an oil consumption problem, you can have oil consumption issues or blow-by issues that you really can't see, that you're not aware of, that can really damage a catalytic converter in a short amount of time. Thanks for watching.